Grüezi miteinander, ganz herzlich willkommen und einen wunderschönen guten Tag, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren. Eine weitere Direktschaltung aus Davos vom World Economic Forum. Eben haben wir den Vortrag des argentinischen Präsidenten Javier Milei gehört und jetzt habe ich einen ganz prominenten Gast bei mir, eine große Ehre. It's a great honor for our publication. Es ist kein geringerer als der Präsident der Republik Serbien, als der Präsident Serbiens Aleksandar Vučić. Mr. President, welcome in Switzerland. What is your impression from this year's World Economic Forum? What was the most interesting, enlightening thought you got here during your sessions?
Well, a very difficult question, but I'd like to say that I come here for many years, and unlike some others, I'll always listen to the other people's opinion and always collect the knowledge of the other people and take what I think might be useful for me and for the country that I'm leading today. And this Davos is a bit more optimistic than the last one, but still you see that it's less about economy, it's more about politics, and there are four big issues. One is US-China relationship. Number two is Gaza, Palestinian-Israeli issue. Number three is Ukrainian, and number four, Houthi and Red Sea issue. And above that, and more importantly, it's obvious that when they speak about it, they all think about two election processes. It's American election process and European parliamentarian elections. And this is something that is actually overshadowing everything. Speaking about good thoughts, well, there were some good thoughts in Miley's speech, although I don't agree with him on everything, but there were some good highlights. It was interesting to listen to Jake Sullivan, which I did, and I picked one thing, because he is a very smart guy. He said, well, now we need to revive, or we need to give back some rights to the countries that actually lost it after the Second World War. And then he mentioned, to cover his real intentions in a very smart way, he said, well, you see how we successfully did it with bringing African Union to G20. Although he didn't think of that, he thought about some other things, but he knew that it was going to be the main news, and he covered us with that. And this was good to be heard. What were the real intentions? And of course, there were some difficult issues for us, discussing it with European envoys on Kosovo and all the other stuff. And I'm here representing the people and the country that is not always favored by most of these governments because of our, from time to time, clumsy but dare to say persistent and consistent attitude to defend the UN Charter and the world order that was established after the Second World War. And we are always against those platitudes that they say you have one principle at one hand, on the other hand different principles, these kind of duplicities and double standards and red herrings, which is not always easy to defend and to stand for, but I'm happy that I'm representing a sovereign, independent nation and an independent country as well.
We're living in rather difficult times. You mentioned it, a lot of conflict. We have a war in Ukraine, we have a war in the Middle East, we have an escalation in the Red Sea. I mean, your country is some kind of a bridge between East and West. You are trying to bring together different perspectives in a world which is very much confrontational. What's the most important principle now for you as a head of state of an important country? What's the most important thing in politics that has to be taken seriously in order to get out of this world of conflict? What is your most important principle at the moment?
I'll do my best to be as brief as it is possible, not to bother you too much. But what's I believe that believing in our own decisions and believing in independent approach, which means that you are not biased, that you don't belong to any kind of flocks and herds, that you are not just following in chasing and pursuing some other people, and finding a reasonable approach for all the conflicts in the world. That's the best politics. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the other people are much smarter, no doubt, because there are many of them that are just following and chasing each other in condemning one side and supporting the other side. No, I think that we should discuss all the issues in a more objective way and in a more rational way. At the end, it won't go in a way that many people expected, and it doesn't go.
Do you think that this demonization we have seen, especially in the last year, even at this World Economic Forum, this politics of enemies and everything, is this intensity of hatred, is it going down a bit? Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel?
I still don't see it, although I have to say that in my bilateral talks I noticed that people are more open to hear
the other side.
Yeah. But as you noticed, I was one of the very rare people that was listening to many of those speakers, of many of those people that had their remarks here, because I wanted to learn, I wanted to hear them, I wanted to get some new information. But they were still on election mode and election mood, and still very much stick to their narrative from previous times. But when you speak to them privately or informally, then it's a different situation, and we'll have to turn our mind towards finding real solutions. Finding real solutions, it's something that will bring us to the better world and to better possibilities and to the real progress.
Serbia has long-standing relationships to Russia. You know Russia well. You understand the Russian history.
How something I don't say that I do understand.
How long do you think will this conflict prevail now in the Ukraine, from your knowledge?
Now Russians have better situation than it used to be, and Ukrainians, they are courageous people and they fought back. But what we need is peace, and we are not close to that. What I can say, I met Putin for 2 minutes, let's say 3 months ago in Beijing. Not more than 2 minutes, just was passing by. But I noticed that he was more self-confident than, let's say, a year ago. And I can see, because I do watch Ukrainian, Russian, European, American TVs, and still do understand what they all speak. And I see now that Putin is in a more victorious mood than he used to be, and still West is hoping that they can at least can handle and can tackle the issue in a way that they can keep stalemate, which they will present as their victory. And whatever, we don't need victories. We really need, I believe, peace, and we need rational solutions of the problems in the future. And I hope that there will be brave people in international politics that will address it in a proper way.
Last question, very short one. We are talking about gloomy issues here: climate change, climate catastrophe, wars, conflict. What's the silver lining at the end of the horizon? What is the good news at the beginning of this year, President Vučić?
Good news is that still I'm getting an invitation, although they know that they're going to get some different views and different opinions. But to tell you the truth, speaking about climate change, there was only one Igwal that I heard that someone was speaking about it. Yeah. Everybody else was speaking only about big and only political issues.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you. Ja, meine Damen und Herren, das war Präsident Vučić. Um es zusammenzufassen, Sie haben es vielleicht auf Englisch auch zum Teil verstanden, ein sehr bedachter Mann, der sich da wohl überlegt, kommentiert hat. Er hat gesagt, das Wichtigste ist, dass man miteinander redet, dass wir miteinander im Dialog treten, dass man nicht an dieser Politik der Feindbilder festhält, dass man versucht, auch rationale Übereinkünfte und Einschätzungen zu finden, nicht einfach sich da in den eigenen Urteilen verbunken. Ich habe ihn natürlich angesprochen auf die guten Beziehungen zwischen Russland und Serbien. Er ist ja dafür auch immer wieder kritisiert worden, quasi als Putin-Freund und so weiter. Sie kennen diese entsprechenden Zuhaltungen. Nun, da hat er gesagt, er habe Putin für 2 Minuten sprechen können in Peking an diesem Gipfel von Xi Jinping, und der russische Präsident habe ihm da einen sehr selbstbewussten Eindruck gemacht, selbstbewusster als noch vor einem Jahr. Das korrespondiere mit den militärischen Erfolgen. Die Russen seien aber, er hat dann gesagt, er bewundere den heldenhaften Kampf der Ukrainer. Er bemühte sich natürlich, hier eine balancierte Sicht darzulegen, und er fügte hinzu, man brauche keine Siege jetzt, keine militärischen Erfolge, sondern man brauche Frieden. Und das sei wichtig. Auf die Frage, was die gute Nachricht sei am Ende des Jahres, am Anfang des Jahres, Entschuldigung, dann hat er etwas versonnen in die Kamera geblickt und sich dann an ein Gespräch über Klimawandel erinnert hier am WEF. Was da genau der Lichtblick für die Gegenwart sein wird, das hat sich mir jetzt noch nicht ganz erschlossen. Aber ich glaube, das Entscheidende, was ich jetzt mitnehme aus diesem Gespräch, ist, dass Präsident Vučić beobachtet hat, dass in den Diskussionen, in den Panels, in denen er teilgenommen hat, dass dort eben sich ein gewisses Tauwetter auch in geopolitischer Hinsicht abzeichnete, dass das fühlbar war. Meine Damen und Herren, das war's mit einem weiteren Beitrag vom World Economic Forum mit einem sehr prominenten, auch umstrittenen, aber eben interessanten, wieder mit einem sehr guten Resultat gewählten Staatsoberhaupt aus Europa, mit dem serbischen Präsidenten Aleksandar Vučić. Machen Sie es gut, bis bald.